Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one. So today we're going to talk about female lawyers. And we've got a video called The Challenges of Being a Female Lawyer. You guys probably know where this is going to go. But let's strap in and let's just take a look at this real fast. Just remember to like and subscribe, and let's jump into it.
Latest McKinsey stats kind of say what is about 47% of law associates are women, but then it's only about 20% that end up being kind of equity partners.
So they're basically saying that almost half of the lawyers now at the junior level are women, but then the partner level that's nowhere near close is predominantly male.
And, I have talked a lot about, how that's a tough environment for a lot of women to be in. Tell us a little bit about you.
It's a tough environment for people, period. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, whatever. Working at a law firm and being in that type of environment is hard, and just expecting it to be easy or not hard is just kind of crazy.
Kind of your experience in those early years, practicing in that kind of environment. What was it like? What did you kind of have to face that, being in that minority group?
And I think that's right. And you can see that's sort of a time in any young woman's life where you are thinking about, do I want a family? Do I want to settle down? That's sort of like when you're at law school, you're in your mid to late 20s. You start at this law firm. You're in your late 20s to mid 30s, right?
So basically, you've graduated law school and you're right at the wall, because the wall is 30. So somehow they thought it was a good idea to go into a program when you graduate, and 2 years later you're almost at the wall, and that's if you graduate on time. Smart move,
right? You probably make partner in your mid to late 30s, and for women, that time I think is the time when you're thinking, do I want to have children? Is this going to be something I can do together with this?
Now, mind you, she said mid to late 30s, and we all know that geriatric pregnancy starts at 35. So you've completely wasted all of your best years to find a husband and have a healthy pregnancy because you're working at a law firm in law school, which is at least 60 plus hours a week. Tell me, guys, when this became a smart plan.
Very high pressure career. So I think that's, that's why you lose a lot of women, and that's why they don't end up pursuing those leadership roles inside a law firm, because it is very grueling. And there is sort of this 7-8 year period where that has to be sort of your focus in life. And I think a lot of people are not prepared to say that they're going to necessarily, not start a family at that time.
Yeah. Well, see, men are, because men can say, look, I want to focus on my career and not have a marriage or children. You know what I mean? But women want to do this and then try and slide in at the end and have this family and then have their cake and eat it too. And it just doesn't work like that.
Or focus on other things. So, my experience, I think, is maybe even... it was maybe even slightly tougher because I chose something inside a law firm that is very male dominated. Mergers and acquisitions and public mergers and acquisitions is sort of this very, for whatever reason, male dominated area.
Oh, well, let's stop it here. Mergers and acquisitions is a very male dominated field because A, there's a lot of money in it, and B, it's a competitive dog eat dog, It's one of the most competitive, one of the most, I don't want to say hardcore, but one of the most, I could say hardcore law practicing styles, because you have companies who are just basically, you are in that corporate warfare, and most of the time, the only people on that behavioral scale that are willing to work 80 hours a week and do the traveling and have the disagreeable traits to get into that are men. It's a lot of work, and these guys are very driven, and they're willing to go in there and just like a boxing ring and just start throwing bombs at each other. That's what mergers and acquisitions is about. And a lot of women really don't have those personality traits, and even if they did, the amount of work, they're like, screw this, I don't want to do that.
And so, at the time I came in, there were no female partners, and the partners were supportive for sure, but just there are...
You remember, anything that they say before but is BS. The partners were supportive, but Here,
There are just some connections you can't make with, male partners that you can with female partners. And there's just some things that you're never going to be able to learn from them. And I think one of those things is like, what's my negotiation style? So if I look at, men, I think they do negotiate differently than women.
of course we do. And to her previous point, what connections with men and women are she talking about? If I'm a lawyer and I'm black, and then Steve is a lawyer, he's white, there's no extra connection that I need to make with him. He's there to do a job, I'm there to do a job. See, men don't do these types of things. I need to have some type of chakra chi crystal aura with my female. Well, get out of here with that mess.
And I don't know that I ever found a male partner that I could look to and think, okay, I really like the way he negotiates. It fits with my personality. I'm going to learn how to do this. Whereas I think if I had some female examples, I think I probably would have been able to do that better. And I had other sort of female mentors in other groups within the firm, and that was very, very helpful. But I could feel the burden on them as well, as being some of the only women that were out there, and having to like mentor all of the incoming women. Because as you say, like there's a lot of incoming women.
Well, the thing is they don't have to take that burden on. That would be like me saying, me as the only black lawyer at a law firm, that I have to, mentor all the incoming black lawyers. I don't have to do anything. I have to worry about my own career, taking care of my family and my friends, and doing what I'm supposed to do. But this whole sisterhood stuff needs to stop, because obviously what she said, it's burdening women and it's holding them back. So I know most of my viewers are men, but if there are any women who are listening, or if you are a man and your sister or your aunt or your mom is dealing with some sisterhood stuff at work, tell them to stop.
And then very few at the partner level. So I could sense that they felt this burden as well. And, also like that's just one woman. It might not be that my negotiating style lines up with her. It would have been nice to have like 5 or 10 or 15 to look to. So I think there was that. I became pregnant, I think my 5th or 6th year. I didn't feel like I could tell really anybody, because again, you have to sit across a male partner and tell them.
What does that have to do with anything? You chose to become pregnant and you didn't feel comfortable telling a male that you work with or your boss or whatever. That's your fault. You need to say, look, I'm pregnant. That's it. There is, see, men don't do this. The only thing that I can see is if you said, oh, I have like testicular cancer or whatever. But if it's something, excuse me, if it's something that you chose to do, like, oh, hey, this is AJ and I was climbing, I was doing like a rock climbing thing. I fell and broke my leg and now it's going to affect my performance. You shouldn't be weird about saying that. Now, yes, that's not the same as pregnancy, but either way, you chose to become pregnant. So,
about it's something that I think is fairly personal. But I had to keep obviously working the hours and often like all night, so I'll be like,
aww,
4 or 5 in the morning, still working. And it's you're not feeling great. I mean, everyone handles their pregnancy differently, but I didn't feel great. I didn't perform great,
and that probably meant that all the men around her were picking up her slack.
I think they sort of understood that, maybe on sort of an esoteric level, but do they really understand how just
Practical.
They don't have to. That's just the thing. They don't have to understand. You chose to become pregnant. And it's not just men. There are men, and then there are childless women that don't understand what she's talking about. Because let's just say that she's in a law firm and she's the only woman who's having kids. The women who don't have kids are also picking up her slack too, as well as the men.
Months on and on, you don't feel great. And what I think now, looking back, and I think what I wish they had said to me was this is just sort of a blip in your life. This is just 9 months, or this is just 2 years. You have a 30-year career ahead of you where you're going to keep performing. Take these 9 months or however long where you're not feeling great, and just still do what you need to do, but maybe you don't need to be at the highest performing level and working all night every night.
Yeah, so hey, take this time that you chose to get pregnant, yes, and then do less work or not perform to your best. Yeah, that's what you need to do. Instead of giving 100%, give 60%. That mindset in and in itself is just nuts because, like I said, someone's picking up your slack. Or if you're working at a law firm or any business, your customers or your clients are suffering. It's crazy.
Because your body's doing something else, right? So I think that's sort of what I try, both to both to men and women that I manage, just make sure that they understand that when they have a baby, when they're getting married, it's just one blip in their life that is very important and they should focus on in a very long career. So like if you're having a baby and you want to be home and your wife gave birth in May, be home for like 3-4 months, whatever you need to be, because you really only have a baby once, twice, maybe in my case 3 times in your life, but you're looking down a 20-25 year career. That one piece of your life shouldn't bring you completely off track, and it shouldn't sort of reinvent the way you think about yourself as maybe not the highest performer. And I think that's what happens to women is like, well, maybe I'm not, maybe I can't do this.
Well, we'll just end this there, guys. And I guess I can summarize this in saying, look, a lot of women get into these high price, they go into these college programs and get, well, not a lot, a small percentage of women may major in things like medicine, law, etc. And they get these high priced careers, and then they think that they can do everything that a man can. But guess what? You have to have kids. If you want kids, it's going to cost you. You can't have everything. So even this woman, who's a very successful woman, right? She's obviously some corporate bigwig or whatever lawyer. But the way that she was saying, just think about the words that she was saying, the hardships that she was saying about her experience or what women experience. How could you not expect to experience that? See, men, we go into things knowing full well what our expectations are and what's going to happen. But women just think that they can just, I'm going to go in and then somehow figure out working 80 hours a week and somehow have a baby, and somehow all the guys are going to get along and kumbaya, and then I'm going to help all the women. And it's just not going to happen. So, all right, you guys, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe. You guys are the best. This is AJ, and I am out of here.